time for the Experts Corner. It's time for the Experts Corner, the daily segment that brings you some of the best financial and lifestyle experts in their field. It's all fact and no fluff as we share with you proven solutions for all your situations. Stay with us for the Experts Corner. It's the Experts Corner, where we put an expert in your corner.
Welcome back to Austin Talk Radio 1370. You're listening to The Shift Economy with your hosts, Paul Harmon, Neil Stokes, and Mike Stein. The weekly Hour of Power, dedicated to help you discover how to thrive in the 21st century economy. And for those listening for the first time, this is the show that exposes the ugly truths about outdated traditional thinking and brings forth the new paradigm necessary to thrive in a 21st century economy. We're talking to Anthony Gaalaas, who is an expert in the field of credit and credit restoration. We are also talking about how everything has changed so much in the last several decades, and credit has really become something that's really come into play. And as a matter of fact, Anthony, I remember, a while back, there was this whole, it was more of a threat than anything else, that to go out and secure employment, an employer was going to check out your credit and make decisions based on that. And I'm finding that now it's actually become a reality. What's your take on the whole thing? How important and how vital is credit today versus what it was, let's say, even 10 years ago?
Credit is basically now your credibility. When you look at it from that perspective, is that it's exactly what people want to think about you, what they want to say about you. It might not be relating to the situation you're going through, but unfortunately, in this day and age, credit is something that they're going to run just like they're going to run a background check and see who you are. So from employment purposes, they want to see how your financial responsibilities are. If you got bad credit, obviously, and you're in debt and you owe a bunch of money, you might want to steal from that company to pay your bills one day.
So how does one deal with that now? Nowadays, with what's gone on with this economic collapse, for lack of a better term. I'm not trying to be negative here, but there's been a lot of people who are joining the ranks of, some failed causes. Good people that traditionally have always paid all their bills on time, who've had immaculate credit, and all of a sudden, unforeseen circumstances, either through downsizing or having their portfolios implode and, losing their cash reserves.
Yeah, exactly. So
how's that impact people?
Well, yeah, you got two segments of the population. You got those that are basically credit criminals that, we don't want to talk about during this period of time. But, I'm more interested in educating the folks that have had a wrinkle, a hiccup, whether it's been a loss of a job, a divorce. There's so many things that come up that life throws our ways that we're not prepared for. And financially, obviously, in this economy, what's going on, the mortgage collapse, obviously, that was a huge one.
Anthony, I'm sorry to interrupt, but what about identity theft, too? That pops up.
Yeah, identity theft is huge now, too. We're running and seeing that more and more every day, pulling credit reports and asking folks, what's going on with this account here? Did you open up this Dillard's card? Or how come, Paul, why do you got a Victoria's Secrets card? I didn't know you had that.
That's for one of my girlfriends, no.
Okay. So, we see some of those things happening.
Actually, it's for me. No, I'm only kidding.
And then, you need to buy your wife some good things now and then. So there's some identity theft going on there, obviously, and that can cost you a few bucks.
Absolutely, and there's no doubt that that credit just ties over to pretty much every aspect of our society. I know from the insurance business, people's rates on just auto and home insurance, they could see up to a 50% discount. If they have really good credit, they could see a 150% surcharge if they have poor credit.
You're kidding me. Is it really that high?
It is that high.
Yeah.
It's that high.
Is that on auto only, or what products does that impact?
That's going to be on auto insurance, it's going to be on homeowners insurance, and there may be some additional ones as well, but those are the two biggest ones that I think it's going to be most prevalent with. As a matter of fact, there's some insurance companies out there now that are more interested in your credit than you would think even in your driving record, believe it or not. They're much more willing to forgive tickets and accidents for people who've got good credit than people who don't.
So, Anthony, how do you help out people? So if, let's say, for instance, I happen to have either through identity theft, or I went through a nasty divorce, or just some errors that were actually done on my credit file, which incidentally, about 15 years ago, I remember going through this, and my God, it was like pulling teeth, just trying to get the credit bureaus to, to work with me. They'd point at the creditor would point at the credit bureau. It was like a Chinese fire drill. It was ridiculous.
Right. Well, remember who you're dealing with, the credit bureaus, first off. Let's just start there.
Okay.
These are a for-profit company. They're not a nonprofit agency. They're not a government-run agency with a lot of people might think, nationwide we're on your side kind of a deal. They are there to make money every time your credit is pulled. So when your score is low and it's kept that way and you have to shop all over town trying to get a loan, that's how they're making money.
And they hold my future in their hands.
Exactly.
Nice.
So, yeah, and you're dealing with the creditors. There was a report done on CBS a long time ago that talked about 4 out of 5 credit reports having mistakes. Really? So the angle we're looking at is, if I asked you, said, hey, were you late on your mortgage payment? Yes. Were you late on this Victoria's Secret's card we talked about earlier? Yes. I've got this in collections. I got this tax lien, a bankruptcy, whatever it might be. We're not going to look at it and dispute it whether you had it or not, but what we're going to challenge them is there's over 212 laws under the Fair Credit Reporting Act to protect you as the consumer on how the creditors are reporting this with the bureaus.
Do most people even know about that?
No. I mean, when was the last time you heard about that in high school or university? They don't teach this stuff.
Well, that's a whole other story.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. Even the scoring process, people say, well, what's your score? I don't know. What is the score? How do you score me?
Most people don't even know how the score's
You know what? I don't even know how the score is formulated. Okay.
And you're an industry expert.
And I'm an industry expert.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's just one of those unwritten laws that are out there on how they score you. But there's so many variables. The time that the account has been established, when the date of last activity on that account, what the balances are, all those kind of things. So what we're doing, though, is not looking at it from that angle, but we're challenging them with the laws and stating, hey, you guys need to prove this stuff. We need to make sure that the creditors report it accurately with the credit bureaus, and they're reporting that back to the mortgage company, the employer, the insurance company, whoever it might be. So we just challenge them on that and look at those things. Like I said, 90% of the time, there's usually mistakes on there. And right now, I'm averaging about a 56% deletion rate of derogatory items on everybody's credit reports across the board.
All right, so you're actually helping people correct all this.
Correct.
Now, do you educate them also throughout the processing?
Yeah, that's another thing that kind of sets me apart. I'm really more focused on the education. I can just say, hey, this is what we can do. Take some money, get it fixed. You're on your way. You'll still never learn the credit game. You'll still never know how to play it in the future. But why not, teach you some of those things so to build up a good credit profile after the fact, show you some tricks of the trade, how to maintain good credit after that, not get yourself maybe in this predicament again if it happens.
That's important.
That's huge.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? This is a great opportunity for a little shameless self-promotion. So we're talking to Anthony Gaalaas, and what's the best way for folks to reach you?
You can call me at 512-522-5512.
What's that number again?
512-522-5512. It's kind of catchy, but kind of difficult sometimes.
Is that a palindrome or?
Yeah, nice.
Hey, whatever it takes, But yeah. So you're the real deal. All right. Do you do seminars or anything like that for educating the public?
Yeah, definitely. I've done some in the past. We did one that was called Life After Bankruptcy. People come out of bankruptcy and they figure there's no hope and they got to wait 10 years for their credit profile to get cleaned up again. We show them that there is a way after that. We've done different seminars, different talk shows like this one today. Just educating, but that's my main focus, is really kind of holding their hand through the process, and even years to come. I mean, after we fix the report, even if they want to call me 2 years, 3 years down the road and say, hey, I'm thinking about